Okay, let's do this. Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. What? And it's Wednesday now. What do we got for you guys? We're talking about this new Superman game here. Two articles here. One from Tech for Gamers. What's up, Tech for Gamers? And one from Tweak Town. So a new Superman game is being you know is being hinted or being tossed around in an earnings call. And the article, both articles talks about Warner Brothers Discoveries and the IP that they own. They talk about Hogwarts Legacy. About how open world it is and immerse. They talk about when you're in a Hogwarts Legacy games, they you're really in that game. They talk about the IPs that they own, and they talk about uh, Warner Brothers with James Gunn and you know the movies that they're working on. But when it's all said and done now, when it comes to a Superman game, you can't make excuses anymore. You know those super you can't make excuses anymore. Listen to this. Says here, new Superman game hinted by Warner Brothers Discovery boss. Discovery CEO David Zaslav hinted at a new Superman game that could accompany the release of James Gunn upcoming DC Superman film. Says here, Warner Brothers Discovery boss David Zaslav teased new game that could release alongside DC features films, including a new Superman game interactive experience. Talks about in a recent first quarter 2023 earnings call, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav spoke about the power and flexibility of the company video game profile. More specifically, Zaslav discussed how its wealth and wholly owned intellectual property franchise could encompass all of the interactive entertainment from future-length films to games. Zaslav pointed to Hogwarts Legacy's significantly billion-dollar overperformance as the key example on how the company IP could blend across movies, games moving forward, while directly mentioning the new Superman Legacy film from James Gunn. Below we have full transcription of Zaslav during the earnings call, and while he did not specifically say that a new Superman game was coming, it's easy to infer that the CEO was trying to express that it could happen. Says, we have a very good gaming business with 11 different studios, real talented capabilities. But the real differentiator for us as a company is that we own our IP. That IP belongs to us and we're developing it. And in some cases, we may choose to develop it with a third-party game company, technology company. We may be the only media company that owns, whether it be DC Universe, Harry Potter, all the content that we own, Games of Thrones, that's for us to deploy. I think that particularly important strategically. Says if you look at Hogwarts Legacy, a big piece of the success of that game is that you go into it. If you're a player, you go in that game, you're in that world. That kind of new concept before it was a gaming and it was storytelling, and how very difficult to understand what the definition of metaverse is. Says here, almost done here. Says here, two more paragraphs. Says here, we launch a product on Max or HBO, and we have a game that belongs to us. But now this is a in-betweener. It may be in the next couple of years that we launch a Superman movie, and people spend more time, and there's more economic of people just hanging out in Superman world and universe. The fact that we own all of this is something that I think is going to be really important as we look forward as technology develops, and given the amount of time that people spend on gaming, we don't want to be in motion picture and long form storytelling business and have somebody else in the business of hanging out in those worlds. Those worlds are going to be quite profitable in the years to come. Look, that's the end of the article. Look, I mean, talking about you own IPs and the direction you're going in as far as video games go. I mean, when it comes to video games and movies, you have to have a story. you have to have storytelling. You have to have storytelling within the games and the movies. That's how it works. Far as a Superman game goes, now the Superman games that we played on the PlayStation One, or I mean on I think it was PlayStation 2 original Xbox. Then we saw Superman in Marvel vs. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Injustice 1 and 2, right? We the Superman games that and then there was Superman on the 64, I think, on PlayStation 1, right? Those Superman games were rough drafts. Those games were rough drafts compared to the consoles of today, where you can go real in depth with open world and storytelling. Storytelling is a part of video games, is a part of movie. If the game doesn't even have a story, it doesn't make sense. If the movie doesn't have a good story, it doesn't make any sense. So you gotta have story in a movie. You gotta have storytelling in video games. Now, as far as Superman goes now, with these consoles that they have out now on the market, there is no excuse. There is no excuse now for a Superman game to not be made. They have the hardware, they have the software, and they need people fully committed to the project. They could talk about owning 11 studios and owning intellectual properties and all that. That sounds cool and all, but you're not addressing the like they say, the elephant in the room. Where's the Superman game? You could talk about WB with Warner Brothers Discovery with James Gunn making new Superman films and all that, and making new DC films and all that. But where's the actual Superman game so we can all play it? That's where the real problem lies. So they can't talk about it. They can't talk about it no more, and then tossing it around in an earnings call like it's a catchphrase or something. Okay, and not only that, WB Superman fans have not gotten over what happened to Henry Cavill with the Superman movies, because with Henry Cavill Superman movie, it was supposed to be a trilogy, and they never got it. But what really happened to Henry Cavill, it was like a little jealousy and envy thing. But anyway, people haven't forgot about that. So when it comes to a Superman game, they can't talk about it no more. They can't talk about it no more. They have to do it. They have to make the game. You can't throw it around in an earnings call report like, oh, Superman game. Oh, we own this. We made this amount of money. We own these studios. We own these games. It sounds cool and all, but where's the Superman game for the fans that's been dying to play open world Superman games? And WB made DC Universe. DC Universe laid out the blueprint on what a superhero game is supposed to look like. So WB got experience with Gotham Knights, Batman Arkham Origins, and DC Universe. But then there's Rocksteady. Rocksteady now does Batman, did the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. So those two studios, one of those studios have to pick up the tab. Like, okay, we got to get this game made. We got to get it done. Because you can't just sit there just tossing it around like it's a boomerang or it's a frisbee. They have to get the project made. There's plenty of resources that they have. They got the hardware, they got the software, they got movies, they got books, they got comic books, they got all the tools that they need, and they need people fully committed to the project. So one of those studios have to pick up the tab. They can't talk about it no more. And with the power of the Series X and the PlayStation 5 and PC, and with the power of these handhelds like the Steam Deck, the ANEO, the One X, the GPD, the OXO, and Asus, there is no excuse for that no more. There's no more excuses for not making that game. It has to get done. They have the resources, they have the tools. They can talk about, when you play a Superman game, you should feel like you're in that world. You are playing as Superman. That sounds cool and all, but when is this game gonna be made? That is the real question, and that's the question that they need to answer. I mean, they can make all the excuses in the article talking about they own IPs and studios and profits and all that. But when is the game going to be made? And that is the real question. And then the Series X PS5, they're due for a refresh with the PS5 Pro and the new Xbox of Series. You know, they're due for a refresh. Valve is working on the Steam Deck too. You know, you got ASUS, you got Neo. They're working on a new handheld. GPD doing the same thing. One X is doing the same thing. The OXO is you know, these are powerful handhelds and consoles, and of course there's PC. But they can do all that talking about earnings calls and reporting and all that. But when is this game going to be made? And that is the question. So sounds good. Sounds good that they got IPs and studios and they own all this. Blah 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 blah. But when is the game going to be made? And that is the real question. Anyway, latest video for y'all to enjoy. Oh, by the way, I'm leave both articles from Tech for Gamers and TweetCam. Latest video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek fan. Bored, dark side. I'm gone. Peace.